Okay, time for one of my patented world-famous reaction videos that get like 1 million views. So, they don't. This is Star Wars Battlefront 2.
30 years for this.
Which actually has a story this time, as opposed to the last one. Some TIE fighters there.
My last orders. The day the real war began.
Bit of a Star Destroyer, but not like a famous one. It's like a little tiny one, like a baby one.
Cannot be allowed to persist.
There's the Emperor, who's always having a good laugh. That's what I like about the Emperor. He's always having a good giggle at what he does. He enjoys it, is what I'm saying.
Special forces.
That's the point, Sergeant.
Oh, so yeah, from what little I've heard, because this is the first time I've seen the trailer, is you're
Impossible.
part of these
Commander?
Empire Special Forces. So the story is told from the Imperial perspective. One assumes they're not full-bore, you know, kill all the rebels and displace the aliens like proper Empire, so we can have some sort of moral thread to hold on to, perhaps. Maybe they turn good by the end, I don't know.
These ideas away.
Sounds like there's going to be a lot of Emperor in it though, which I'm good with more Palpatine. I think everything's better with more Palps in it, so I'm fine with that. Alright, so I guess this is some gameplay. Well, we saw a Ronto anyway. And look, it's Darth Maul. Everybody's favourite. Mother's favourite, Darth Maul. So they say they're including everything, so we've got the modern stuff, the classic stuff, the prequel shite. And it is shite. I don't care what people say in the interim where they've all said, oh, they've been misjudged now, and, you know, people who still say the prequels are shit are rubbish and don't know good Star Wars. It's not true. They were shit. But that's Battlefront 2. Hey, look at that. So, it looks like it will be a complete game this time, which will be nice. The original Battlefront, well, I say the original, you know, the original rebooted Battlefront from the year before last. I think it was the year before last, wasn't it? It was alright. It was a good enough game. It was just one of those what I call early AAAccess games, in that it was basically early access being sold as a full product and not marketed at all as an in-development project. It was just lacking content. The stuff that was in it I thought was good. I certainly enjoyed it, but there was just not that much of it. Now that it's kind of, the season passes is done with, like the season, I suppose, of content is finished, and it's got more maps and characters and that. It's almost reminiscent, I would say, of a full game, but it took over a year to get there, to finish enough content where I'm looking at it and says, alright, that looks about what I'd expect from a $60 multiplayer-only game. That wasn't really offering much else. And even then, in order to have gotten all that stuff, at least initially, they wanted an extra $50 on top of that, and it just wasn't on, especially when after EA admitted that they basically rushed Battlefront out to get ahead of The Force Awakens, which, you know, despite the promises they're making with this one, despite them obviously offering a story as seen with this trailer, and despite them being, I would say, apologetic, I would say carefully, in a marketing sense, apologetic. And when I say carefully, I'm not saying I'm being careful, I'm saying they were very careful with their their tightly scripted apology and acknowledgement that the first game couldn't be all it could be. But what worries me here is that despite clearly them knowing they dropped the ball last time, although it did make a fuckload of money, we do have The Last Jedi coming out this year. So, are they going to rush and cut corners this year to get this out ahead of the curve there? I don't know. But they've already acknowledged a propensity toward doing that. And that's why I think it's only fair to enter this with a degree of healthy skepticism. I'm not saying dump on it immediately. Like I said, I enjoyed the first one well enough. I wish I could have given it a higher rating. I would have loved to have Really, really praised it for as much as I played it, and I played a ton of it, but I just couldn't give it glowing recommendation. I just had to sort of tip my cap to it and say, yeah, it's good. It's a good game. So I will remain hopeful that this is good. They're talking about, ditching things like season passes and all that. That would be nice. It would be nice to get, the actual content of the game in the game. I remember the former CEO of EA, John Riccitiello, saying on an E3 stage one year that once upon a time, the game you bought was the game you got. And he was saying that like it was a bad thing. It's a quote I used to bring up a lot on old Inquisition episodes, because it just perfectly typified what I felt was the disconnect that CEOs have. That he brought that up like it was a crowning glory that games are now broken into pieces and sold to us in little strips and shreds. And I realised that wasn't what he was intending to say when he said it. He wasn't exactly trying to conjure that image, but again, that speaks to the disconnect, because that's the image he brought up because he was trying to justify DLC and further monetization. When I personally think that when you buy a game, getting a full game experience with that money, a not insignificant amount of money for most people, $60 on a luxury item, I think that's quite good, is if you spend the money and get the full product. And that's not to say expansions can't be a thing. The Witcher 3's Blood and Wine, of course, has been highly regarded. Bethesda have always done pretty decent expansions, unless you're one of those people who hate everything Bethesda do, in which case, more power to you. But the kind of shit that EA pulls on the reg, I do not consider that to be customer-facing expansion. I consider that withholding, I consider that wallpapering over the cracks, I consider that... Well, I mean, we already know what the first Battlefront was. I've said it more than once already. It was a rush job. So, fingers crossed this isn't the same, because I really would like a good, big Star Wars multiplayer game. A gooder one. A better one. One that's great, like it deserves to be. Okay, so... yeah, cautiously optimistic, but very skeptical. And I don't think that's skepticism that's unfounded, because it's only going off past behaviour. So, let's bookend that past behaviour with some good behaviour, and then we'll see the series on track. Thumbs up then. But not right now. Thumb sort of crooked between up and down. Which way will it go? It's really in the hands of EA.